Entitled grandmother literally beats me in IKEA because I was dehydrated. This happened when I was 11. My grandmother, she hates me because she hates my biological father and often takes her hate out for him on me. Anyway, on my mother's birthday, Mum was taken to IKEA by my aunt, my grandmother, my uncle and my great aunt. Me, my cousin, my two sisters, I'm the middle child of the house, and the kids being dragged along. We had spent about 3 hours in IKEA going around and picking stuff out for Mum, and I start to feel dizzy. My cousin helps me and asks if we can get a drink because my throat feels dry. My grandmother glares at me and the other adults were too busy talking to notice. I was forced to be quiet. I tried asking my aunt after 20 minutes as I felt awful. My throat was dry, my head was throbbing and I felt dizzy. Grandmother said this: "Shut the fuck up. This is your mother's birthday. Nobody cares about what you want, so respect your mother." Me and the other kids are fucking stunned. I try to argue, and as we climb up some stairs near the cafe area, and when I tell her that since we are near the cafe area we can get drinks, she punches me in the jaw. She then kicked me in the ribs and stomped on me, screaming this: "You are filthy, you are scum, you are just like your bastard father." Jesus. I start crying and sobbing as there are 200 customers in the cafe area watching an old lady beating a child into the ground. I heard someone scream for help, and I think about 2 or 3 minutes later, security came to escort my grandmother out. Police were called, and I was asked to give a statement. I asked for some water before saying anything else. I told them this: I just wanted something to drink. My aunt let me stay at her home for a few days after we were let go. My aunt is the only family member I can truly trust. Entitled 6th grade English teacher wants me not to watch Dragon Ball Z at home because she says Goku is a bad influence. Little backstory: I'm a fan of Dragon Ball Z. I watch the anime and have also played a couple of the games. But anyways, onto the story. I'm looking for a wallpaper of Goku to use as my wallpaper. The teacher comes up behind me and asks what I'm looking at. I tell her I was looking for a wallpaper featuring Goku. This is where the fun begins. "Do your parents allow you to watch Dragon Ball Z?" "Yes." D_securement_1. It sounds like your parents aren't raising you right. "Why do you say that?" Dragon Ball Z is a bad show for children to sit and watch unsupervised. I would never let my children watch that. I'd rather them watch Family Guy unsupervised than let them watch Dragon Ball Z. I view Goku as a better character than Stewie. D_securement_1. Goku is a bad influence on children. Dragon Ball Z teaches children that violence is always the answer. But it's not. I don't care, for all I care is that Dragon Ball Z is a bad show for children. She eventually tells my parents over the phone about it and tells them I need to be supervised while watching TV. All because I have a bad taste of shows. My parents got a laugh out of it. Years later, I'm still watching Dragon Ball. Mother-in-law is spying on me and my husband and goes inside the house without knocking or saying that she is coming. My mother-in-law is an amazing person. She helped my husband and I a lot with all kinds of stuff. However, I found some of her behaviour odd, and I would like to know if you guys think she is entitled. She does have an extreme over-controlling personality, but she still is amazing. She has the keys to our house, and it's a common thing in our family, as my husband also has a key to her house. Last week we moved to a house, and we still have no curtains in the walls. She lives like 4 blocks away, so when she is walking her dog, she comes around the house to have an innocent look at what we are doing or how the apartment looks. Then she calls and asks why the TV is now in the bedroom or what we are doing at 7 in the night. We were fucking in his room. Yesterday she went into her dentist that is right next to my house, and then she called me and said, "Hi, you. I can see you from my dentist office." Later she dropped by unannounced and she didn't call or knocked on the door. She just opened the door with her key directly and said, "Sorry, I'm in a hurry, that's why I didn't knock." I feel like I don't have my privacy at my own home. I talked with my husband about it and doesn't see any issue with this. I didn't help financially with the house, so I feel like I have no right to complain about anything, but I still feel weird about it. Is she entitled or am I overreacting? Trump supporting mum mocks my grandma's dying wish on her obituary. Alright, I'll be honest, I know people are going to say this doesn't fit the entitled parent story, but it seemed like the best place to post it. About 2 years ago, my grandmother passed away from liver failure. She had depression and drank to the point where her liver failed. She was an outstanding woman who was a big politician and one of the most passionate Democrats I've ever seen. She worked in the Pentagon for many years and worked with Les Aspin for a while. I mention these things because on her posted obituary, my grandma said that her final wish was that, for the sake of my grandchildren, I hope that Trump resigns from office. Tomorrow we are going to spread my grandmother's ashes in the cemetery where the rest of her family is born, and a couple of days ago me and my mum were looking at stones and comments people had left on her obituary, most of which were how she helped someone or that they were sorry, etc. But one single comment said, "Trump fan here, deal." And honestly I was in an awe. Was this lady seriously commenting this on someone's obituary? My uncle had commented on her saying, "Thanks for honouring my mother's request, she will be missed, you won't." I wish I had a good ending saying that Cameron had caught up to her or she apologised, but no. Entitled family wants me kicked out of hospital because I was called before her. So a few months ago I broke my arm really bad and needed to go to the hospital. My mum went to sign paperwork and I, being old enough to watch myself, waited for her. Entitled mother and nice kid sat next to me as I got called for a quick x-ray. It meant I had to go back to waiting after that. The story begins. The entitled mother suddenly said, "Excuse me, me and my child were here first." Nice kid sprained his shoulder really bad, but he already was in the x-ray and needed to wait for another doctor to come because the room was only for x-ray. Now I'm 13 and I could only say, "Sorry ma'am, I can't do anything about that." Enter goodness. "Hey nurse, I want this boy kicked out because he was very rude to me and my son." Entitled mother said, "I'm sorry, but that's not true." Now she enters entitled behaviour and says stuff like, "It is, he stabbed my poor sweet angel right on the sprained shoulder." "Oh really?" the nurse said. "Why isn't nice kid crying or saying something?" "Because he is in so much pain, look at him." He really was in pain because he held his shoulder all the time with a face that said, "Oh crap, my shoulder is really fucked up." The nice kid steps in. "Mum, stop it. He did nothing wrong. You've just been childish again. Also, he was just going to the x-ray and I need to wait for my results. Just let him go." Entitled mother huffed and said, "Fine." Good nurse and I thanked nice kid and she took me to the x-ray.